Hey YouTube, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy, Taicho, and I'm here to bring you One Piece chapter 1104 reaction slash review. So we're just gonna go ahead and jump right into it, similar to my first reaction. I'm going to lean heavily on this One Piece text analysis dashboard that you see here. We're gonna go through the three different sections that are the bigram frequency, the word cloud, and quickly touch on some of the sentiment tokens. So without further ado, let's get into it. So right off the bat, you can kind of see what the dominant component or facet of the chapter is, that being the potential for our third Buster Call of the series. The first Buster Call we had back at the O'Hara incident, the second Buster Call we had back in Enies Lobby, and now we have the potential for a third Buster Call. I'm gonna keep it a buck, Anir. I don't think the Buster Call is gonna happen. I don't know why, but when I got to that panel and just the way that it was delivered, it seemed like it was just brought on a plate that was just like way too shiny and appetizing. For some reason, I feel like the incident on Egghead, if it is a Buster Call, just would be a little bit underwhelming because we kind of saw that already. And my immediate thought was, when is the third parties on Egghead or coming to Egghead, when are they going to arrive and what impact are they going to have? And so I'm starting to kind of think that all those ships that we see out there are either going to get Quake punched out the way, or they can be a great setup for Dragon. I have Dragon stocks invested for 2024, so I think this would be a great entrance. You kind of hype up the Buster Call only to have Dragon come and sweep them all away. But that's my quick reaction to Buster Call. Clearly, that's where all the talk is. Granted, it may very well happen, and the Straw Hats will have to figure out a way to escape, but for me, it wouldn't be a really exciting conflict to the arc. But let me know what you guys think. You think the Buster Call is actually going to happen? If so, how did the Straw Hats get away from it? So then the next kind of common bigram we have here is Luffy punching. I think a lot of that is because, we have the Kuma punch. We finally got this great build-up, and Kuma gets his payback, so to say. I was kind of right in my last reaction where I said that I don't really think the punch is going to do much. Granted, that punch was loaded with power, but given the abilities of Saturn, it's all kind of for naught. Like, this is different than zones where they can get up quickly. This is like straight regeneration. So physical power doesn't seem to be a great way to combat him. And it's interesting because in the power scaling system, Haki has kind of been always at the top. If you punch a Logia with Haki, that damage is there and it's done. Whereas Saturn, I don't want to say he operates on a higher plane, but it seems like the punch really in the end didn't do nothing because he just came and regenerated. Granted, I was shocked when I saw the horn broken, the arm gone. I was like, damn, Kuma chill. But that was nice and raw. As it relates to Luffy punching, this is a very well paralleled event where you have Kuma punching Saturn, and then when we think back to Sabaody, we had Luffy punching a Celestial Dragon. So you have a slave punching one of the highest members of the world in terms of nobility, and then that's paralleled to his god, which is essentially Luffy at this point, who punched the Celestial Dragon. So I think that was a great way to connect the arcs, and many people have mentioned that they feel like this arc is very similar to Sabaody, so this just adds that to it. Next you have the Straw Hats. Different Straw Hats getting their moments here. You have Sanji getting a mini W. I don't even know if you call it a W, but Sanji being able to move, get a nice block, can kick on Saturn. Frankie showing off the radical beam, blasting a hole in Saturn, does nothing, and then he gets blasted away. Quick question, I don't know if you guys noticed in one of the panels, you kind of had like a sloop after Kizaru blasted Frankie. I'm not sure what that is. What do you guys think that is? We follow that up with Celestial Dragon, Radical Beam. You know, I've kind of touched on those already. And then we have the most satisfying punch, more Buster Calls, Kuma Punch, Punk Records. So this is interesting. We have Punk Records, which the Marines thought were very valuable. They didn't want to really damage it, but now, because of like the players on the board, it's okay to wreck the island. Like, that was a quick change of decision. I also just I just feel like that's not gonna happen. The Buster Call. And these lobbies, as I've mentioned, the Kuma Punch, Luffy Punch, Third Buster, the Government, 5 Elders, the Giant Robot. When's he gonna make his play? Kill Saturn. No, the punch did not kill Saturn, and I don't think he's dying this arc. You know, we have Punching Saint Saturn, and then we have Saint Charlos, the parallel between the different punches. Kizaru's Unclear Justice. I still don't think Kizaru is 100% committed to the cause. We don't know if he was the one that gave Luffy the food, and now we don't know where Luffy is, but Kizaru's Unclear Justice is definitely kind of coming through, and maybe he'll have a little bit more unclear justice decisions to make in the upcoming chapters. Let's see what anything else interesting here. You know, feeding Luffy, we don't have the answer for that. Frankie stocks. I don't know if Frankie stocks are up. He got the Radical Beam. I mean, bro, you gotta give it to bro. He's ready to fire on site. So respect to that, but it didn't do anything. And then he got kind of one up by Kizaru. So he's due for an upgrade. The Yonko crew is definitely representing right now. The Hockey Punch, as I mentioned. Saturn kind of operating on a higher plane. And we've got the Blackbeard Pirates. Again, I think they're going to have their moment soon. The punch was a beautiful moment. We had a lot of Bonnie crying. She's still crying. That's what, I guess, 12-year-olds do. Chef's Kiss. I guess that's referring to the cover page. I thought it was a pretty cool cover page. One of the more, like, practical cover page. And this is, you know, you could take this cover page, put it in an actual chapter, and you wouldn't skip a beat. Kizaru definitely needs a darker pair of glasses again. The lights were brighter than he expected. Maybe that's a little foreshadowing to his awakening. You know, he ate the light fruit, so maybe he's gonna shine some intense light coming up. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, I think that's kind of I don't know about Caribou, but I think those are kind of the key moments in the chapter. Overall, I don't really think too much happened. We had a really satisfying moment, and then we kind of are transitioning to like the next phase of this. You know, we have new decisions by the Marines being made. You know, the Straw Hats are looking like they're ready to make their counter move against, you know, Saturn. No one was really expecting that to come, and his abilities and stuff like that. But they do have one objective, and that is escaping the island. How they'll do so, we don't know. A lot of players kind of center stage, but Luffy's missing. Lilith is, you know, ready to operate the ship, I think, or General Frankie and stuff. But I really do think what the key will be is the third parties. The Blackbeard Pirates, the Giant Robot, and potentially Dragon. That's where my money is, and what really will escalate and allow them to escape. Cool. So there's the bigram frequency. Let me know what you guys thought about that. Now we're going to touch on the TF-IDF word cloud. Essentially what this is doing is kind of bringing to light individual words that are most relevant to this chapter as compared to other words in other chapters. So we're just going to kind of zoom in here. Again, so some of this will be similar to the bigram, but you know, Luffy, I think we just have a lot of questions. Where is he and who took him? The Buster Call, of course. Satisfying. That punch was satisfying. Saturn is a very dislikable character, which I think is what makes villains great, is when you like are actively rooting against them, but they still hold the upper hand. That's when you know you have a good villain. The Yonko crew is putting in work. Let's see. You know, the punching, that moment was very satisfying. We have the lasers with the radical beam, and then Kizaru kind of one-upping him again. Everyone's waiting for the Blackbeard Pirates. I'm telling you, put your stocks in the black. Well, I don't know if you want to put your stocks in them, but I think they're up to something. Obviously, the incident is the Buster call. The incident at Egghead. I just think that would be too cliche. I think it'd be too cliche. Let's see what else we got here. We got Radical, Egghead, the fleet. I think the fleet's gonna get taken out. I don't think the Straw Hat fleet's gonna come, but I think the Marine fleet outside is gonna get taken out. Frankie doing the work. How are they gonna survive? Let's see, we're zooming in here. Charlos. Power. Sabaody. Darker shades. The lights were too bright. It's funny because he's the light guy. Well, okay, yeah, so that's the word cloud, and I think, you know, very in line with the contents of the chapter, so let's just move over to the sentiment part real quickly, and we'll touch on that. So, no surprise, the token associated with the most negative sentiment, so to say, is Saturn. He will probably take that trophy every chapter he appears in. Kizaru, I'm not sure what the negative sentiment would be there, other than being like disappointing. We have Kuma, of course, a very sad state. He's in the vegetable state. Thoughts on the death flag. So now that Kuma is a vegetable, does it make sense that he dies? Like, what happens there? I don't know. I don't know if I think I would love if he continues to survive and come back and gets his memories. I think it's just like, why do you go through all that just to do that? It's a little bit weird. But we'll see. Frankie, Luffy, Buster Call, Bonnie crying, the world, seeing the incident, the Egghead. Cool, so those are the main negative sentiments. I'm not so sure on this section. I think I'm going to change this eventually. I'm just not sure what. Any ideas you guys have regarding text analytics or different visuals, let me know. Would love the feedback. You know, Punch being up there in the most positive associated with the word satisfying. I think people are just hoping for something to happen to Saturn, so I can see those two words kind of pushing this up. The Frankie stocks. Let's see, Sanji getting his mini W. The power of love. Vegapunk did mention that. Which leads us to another question with the Buccaneer lore. First, my question: what tribe do you think Nico was most likely from? The Lunarians or the Buccaneers? I don't know if it's either, but I lean towards the Lunarians just because of the white hair. I think seems more closely associated with them, and the rubber skin. Like, that's a trait. You know, we saw those traits from King, but the Buccaneer, you know, are said to have this ability that goes beyond their physical attributes. First thing that popped to mind was the Will of D. I don't know why, but I feel like that association kind of makes sense. You know, the fact that Kuma's being able to do what he did for that brief moment, if that's a Will of D kind of thing, and if that's a Will of D kind of attribute, and the Buccaneers are D-Clan descendants, that'd be pretty awesome. But I'm not exactly sure what that is. But yeah, let me know you guys' thoughts on that. Robin being brought up. We haven't seen Robin in a while. So yeah. The Punch crew. The Great Moment. Hockey. You know, being associated with the satisfying punch. Okay, oops. Yeah, so that's kind of like the sentiment. Again, I'm thinking about changing that, but let me know what you guys think. That's my quick reaction. Overall, I thought the chapter was okay. It's kind of like a transitionary. We've had, we had the flashback for so long, culminating in Kuma showing up and saving Bonnie, and then we had that really satisfying punch. So he gets his moment, but I think his shine is pretty much done. One more note. Kuma's paws are kind of similar to that 6 or 8 circled sun symbol. I thought that was pretty interesting. I kind of noticed that throughout the chapters, but yeah. Okay chapter. I think maybe not the next chapter, but probably 1106. Something crazy is going to happen, because you usually have like your transitionary chapter and then like a little bit more of a build-up chapter, and then something crazy will happen. But I'm excited. Stay on the lookout. I got my One Piece bounty analysis using machine learning and data science coming out within the next week, so I hope you guys will enjoy that. But until then, I hope you guys have a great time and are staying safe during the kind of snowy weather. But yeah, Taicho out.